Now loading.
Hi, guys. This is James, and I'm here with another episode of Florida Lifestyler Podcast. And today we're here with some great Floridians that share the lifestyle culture as well by the name of Cora and Max. Cora and Max, how are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
We are doing great. We are sitting back enjoying this, great night here in Florida.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Are you guys on the East Coast or the West Coast of Florida?
We're actually right in the center of Florida right now. We're
Yeah.
just north of Orlando. So we are full-time RVers. So we
Okay.
travel full-time and we spend most of our time in Tampa and we're venturing around Florida a little bit over the last couple months and we are landed in just north of Orlando
Yeah,
area
we're
right
getting
now.
ready to do our trek north. We're going to head up towards Missouri, check out some clubs and some groups up through the Midwest, and then we'll come back to Florida in October timeframe.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice to just be traveling around and seeing different resorts and stuff. Are you guys are like just your goal is to travel and see different lifestyle resorts around the countries, the 50 states?
We want to see them all. We want to do everything from the lifestyle resorts to nudist, what do we call them?
Campgrounds.
Campgrounds.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
wanted to go visit some groups. And when we launched our Instagram page earlier this spring, it was amazing to us to hear from so many people about all the different places that are all around the United States, places that we never even heard of before. We thought we had an idea of where all the great places to go were, and it's amazing. For example, out in Oklahoma City, a group reached out to us and they said, "Hey, we have this group outside of Oklahoma City. We take over a campground. If you can imagine,
1,500.
1,500
Yes.
swingers, lifestylers taking over a campground, and they do what they call it a Sooner Swing out in Oklahoma. So they were like, "Hey, you guys got to come out here and check it out."
Yeah.
So we're not making it this year. We are our docket is full, but we are traveling all around the United States to go visit places just like that. As I like to call it, I like to say that we're taking the shit show on the road. Yeah.
And I love it. I love that you guys doing that together and you guys are venturing together. When you said your Instagram feed, by the way, I seen on Instagram that you guys are going around and you show a lot of the lifestyle resorts. I actually found out about Passage Key from you guys. I didn't even know this place existed. I thought I had to go on the other side of Florida to go to a nudist colony, beach. And I see that we got one right here in my local area. So what influenced you guys to start the Instagram and what are your Instagram about? So you can share with the customer. I mean the consumers.
So
Sorry.
So we actually, January of this year, we launched a podcast and a YouTube channel. In addition to that, we have a YouTube and a Facebook and a Twitter as well. That is the name of it is Next Door Swing, and the idea is we wanted to tell our lifestyle community, and we include all areas of lifestyle from nudist to lifestyle to polyamorous, the whole spectrum of lifestyle we like to include in that, and take them to places and teach them about places that we want to go to, but we also go to all the time. That we meet so many people that don't know these places exist, and then they don't know how to go there or what to do, what to bring, what to pack, how to book, things like that. And we want to tell them
Yep.
the who, what, where, when, and why of these places.
And a perfect example of that is even like Fort Lauderdale trapeze, for instance. If you walk in at the front door and you don't have a collared shirt on, guess what? You're not getting in. So wouldn't it be nice, right, to get that information before you get down there? So we were actually, it was kind of funny. We were talking to a bunch of friends over in the Tampa Bay area, and we were talking about how we're getting the RV, go and travel, and we love going to all these clubs. And they were all like, "Hey, well, you talked about doing a podcast. Why don't you do your podcast on LS Swinger Lifestyle Travel?" We're like, "Huh, great idea. Let's do that."
Yep.
And so then we just went to it.
Yeah. And that's the basis is just spreading the information to our community. That's our goal. That's what we want to do.
Yep.
Yep.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Sorry, I was interrupted.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. But yeah, that's very great because that's informative, and information is what helps people, and we have to be informative in the lifestyle in order to get people to be more, how can I say this, to make their journey more smoother.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's been amazing the feedback and the amount of people and questions. We had to stop our in the middle of our progress of making all of our different episodes, and actually had to do a whole episode on question and answer because we had so many questions coming at us. And it was everything from, well, how would I get my wife involved in doing something like this,
Right.
to, where do you even go? And so
Mhm.
it was the whole spectrum of even the questions.
Right, right. How did you guys now going into how did you get your wife involved? This goes back to the question I wanted to get you guys into. How did you
Mhm.
guys' journey start? How did you meet each other, and etc. So guys can
See,
know to get their lifestyle journey, get an
I'd
idea
like to
on.
say that, one night we went out drinking and I got in real, Cora Miss drunk one night, and it just happened that way. But no,
No.
no, we've been lifestyle for 12 years, and it all honestly it started with us pretty simply with the fact that she was reading those books.
I was reading 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
And up until at that point, we had been married 18, 19 years, and we had had a very vanilla just experience. I was 17 when we met, I was 18 when we got married. We were very young, naive, and didn't really know what was out there. And then I read 50 Shades of Grey, and it sort of awoke things inside of me, and I was curious. And then we just simply had a conversation about fantasies. And that's how it started,
yeah,
is just openness and talking about fantasies. What would you like to do? What would you like to do? How do we even go to do that? Do people even do that? Let's go to a sex toy store, like start there. And that's kind of how we started in the journey. And then we found some, the websites which people connect with other people. And then we started going to meet and greets, started talking to other people just like us. And we were very slow in our progression of lifestyle. In the beginning, it was very much just him and I in the beginning. And then we've kind of focused on girl girl play. And then we did soft swap. And then we went, full swap. And that sort of took a couple of years to get to that point. And I would not change it in
no,
any other way. I really am glad now that we slow rolled our way into it. And then also now, even being lifestyle 12 years, we ebb and flow often. So, when we go to a playroom at a club, sometimes it's just him and I playing, and
yeah,
that's what I want. Sometimes it's adding a third, sometimes it's being with a couple. It just depends on the vibe and where we're at, but it's always centered around us as a couple. For us, that's what works.
exactly.
I like that. That was a good answer. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong answer, but that answer seemed pretty damn right. I've been in a relationship 20 years myself, and we started as teenagers as well and jumped in a lifestyle together. So I definitely could understand, and I like how you guys started slow.
Mhm.
That's real good. That's kind of like how we started. We started off as like, well, we kind of kicked in the full swap with our first experience because we thought that's what we had to do. But then we started noticing that, we didn't have to do that. So we had times where we would swap, soft swap, or just go out and have sex in front of people, or just,
Yes.
you know, different explorations of
Mhm.
our sexuality together, just being open with it. You know,
Yes.
Yep.
yeah, being able to share our sexuality, letting her know that, yo, I'm interested in other women. She letting me know I'm interested in other men. I would
Mhm.
like to have these scenarios and this
Yeah.
scenario with the group sex. And, so I like that. That's
How
very
wonderful.
powerful.
How wonderful is that to share that with your partner, to share dating with your partner? It's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's all shared together. And that's, I think, been the best part for me, is sharing it together, but also our relationship and our communication specifically is stronger now than it
Yeah.
was,
I was just
at year 18,
Yeah, I was just getting
19.
ready to say
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the
definitely.
communication, and that's kind of what we're all talking about here. The communication of one, how you want to get into it, or what you're thinking about doing. but just that communication among you has to be strong at the beginning to a certain point. But as you're going through and you're learning, because even today, we still, after every experience that we have, we will sit down and we kind of talk through it, what I liked, what I didn't like. Well, I didn't like it when you did this, but we do that debrief so then we can learn and explore to go even further or to do, what we don't like or what we, what we learned from that. And we've never ever ever called an experience a something bad. It was never bad because you can always learn good stuff from it. So we always take that good stuff and go forward rather than to keep living in the past.
That's a good one, Max. That y'all guys making some great answers. Well,
Uh,
it's great. Well,
we've been
it's
studying for this.
right. You guys, the way you guys explain it is very direct. It's very easy to explain. It's explained very easily. Excuse me, because I feel like the person that's not experienced can listen to this and really get a clear understanding without overthinking it. The
Yes.
way you guys are explaining it, and I appreciate you guys explaining it in this way and in this dynamic because
And there's one thing that I've always said too is that you don't ever want to say that, yeah, I know that, I've been in that, I've done that, because every experience and everything, it's constantly changing and it's
yeah,
ebb and flowing. It's,
Yeah.
that goes
Evolving.
back to what, Miss Cora was saying about the fact of ebb and flow. Well, if we've had a busy week at work or if we're just busy with our life and our minds everywhere else, when we go out on a Friday night, even though we were going out on this date with another couple, things might just not be intertwined to work out with them. So it's okay. But as soon as you communicate that and talk that between the partners, you're still on the same page. And that's what it's all about.
yeah, that is true. Especially being in the lifestyle so long, you get to learn that because I've been in the
And for
lifestyle for 15 years, and you have your times. Like right now, I'm at the time when there's like a lifestyle break kind of for me. It's not that because life gets in the way, and you got to handle your life,
Yes.
and sometimes you try to find, you set appointments, but you got to cancel. So you just say, yo, you know what? This is not the time right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's
obviously.
okay. And it's important to recognize that.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
almost so, and even for us, I mean, practically the lifestyle is probably 90%, if not 95% of our entire life. Especially now that we're doing the podcast and we host parties. We also work for other groups that host parties. So we're busy doing it. So that also gets in the way too. That there's a difference when you're hosting a party and you're at a party and you're kind of working it to where, you're busy, busy, busy and make sure everybody else is having fun to where you can't enjoy
Uh,
yourself as well all the time.
You have to be intentional
You
about
gotta be
that.
intentional sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, man. My last party, I kind of like made it kind of donation based party. It just got too overwhelming at one point for me with our schedule and our lifestyle and children having to be watched over by the grandparents and that,
Yep.
grandparents to have something to do. It's just a whole mumble jumble. And then you
Yep.
have to, people you bookings cancel and refunds and stuff. It's like
Yep.
too much. It's like, yo, hold on. You gotta slow down.
Yes.
Yeah. And we used to host events in the Tampa area. And basically coming out of COVID, we had dinner one night with a bunch of friends, and they're like, "Hey, nobody's ever doing these meet and greet style parties anymore." So they're like, "Hey, why don't you guys, Core and Max, why don't you guys start doing?" So we did, and we were very successful. And we actually got up to the point where it was hard because we didn't have any venues big enough to host 450 people because we were selling out of all the places we were at. And the way that we did things and what we loved about it was we would just do it on Facebook. We wouldn't put it on SDC or SLS or any of those group pages. We
Okay.
wanted it to be vetted because obviously, if you guys brought a group to one of our or people to our party, you weren't going to bring any douchebags or anybody that you weren't going to be responsible for. Or you didn't want to have there that represented you. So bringing people in like that through Facebook and telling friends just to bring friends over Facebook posts was great because we didn't have to do any work of vetting people and make sure they're going to be behaving themselves. So all of our events, we didn't have any issues at all showing up, not charging any money because we'd go to the clubs and say, hey, from 7 to 10, we want your bar for just 3 hours, and just have a easy meet and greet. And before you know it, the bars were loving us. They were like, "Hey, can you guys come back?" Because their bar staff loved us because there's no fights. Everybody's paying, they're tipping, they're having a great time, and of course, there's sexy people involved. So I mean, everybody loves that. And
Yeah,
before you know it, our parties were reaching what 450
Four,
people,
yeah,
and we were
400.
like, "Damn! Now, where do we find enough place big
Yep.
enough?" Yeah, the one of our best ones was over in St. Pete at the estate, and it was crazy because our bartender manager was like, "Hey, listen, I don't know if I can give you guys a whole bar from 7 to 10." I was like, "I promise you, we'll be at max capacity by 8 o'clock." And sure enough, there's a line out the
Yep.
door at 8 o'clock, and he was like, "Wow, when can we get you guys back?"
Yep.
So yeah, but I
that
mean,
is
that's just
amazing.
what we
That
just
is great.
like doing that
So
for the community, and the
that's
whole
great.
point of me
So,
saying that, yeah.
are you guys still hosting those?
No, we now that we're on the road and we're
Mhm.
kind of traveling more now, and we're also co-hosting for eye candy parties. We're doing some events for them, and we're doing some other stuff. We also do Bliss cruises,
Okay.
the cruise lines. Yep, we work with those guys and host parties on the Bliss cruise or host events on the Bliss cruise as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if anybody want to reach out and join you guys, they could go to Next Door Swing, right?
That's right. So you can hit us up on Instagram at Next Door Swing, or you can do on Facebook, we're Next Door Swing Podcast. Also, our YouTube channel is Next Door Swing. You can also send us a Gmail at nextdoorswing@gmail.com.
Yep,
Yep, right there at the bottom. Like they have great content, guys. They stay uploading content too. They
Mhm.
stay with reels. They stay with new adventures that they're going across in Florida. Like I say, they
Mhm.
introduced me to Passage Key. And this is great, guys, because I'm really interested. That's why I reached out to them because I see them a lot on our feed. So if you they are very active. So if you wind up following them, you will be informed. Trust me. They will pop up in your feed because they are very active on their social platforms and they give great informative information. And that's why I reached out and wanted them to join out and I mean, join the podcast to share with you guys to give you guys the opportunity to meet them as well and follow them also.
was
So,
to stay just like this, easy,
Yes,
approachable, and just
authentic.
authentic, and just putting
Mhm.
information out there. Monetary, we don't care about making dollars and all the other great stuff.
Mhm.
We just want to get the information out there to the lifestyle community, both good, bad, and indifferent, and just let them make the decisions on their own.
yep, that's exactly where I stand. That's why I stand with the Florida thing. It's like I
Yep,
needed
Mhm.
something to represent everybody as a whole. You
yep,
know
Yes,
what I mean?
exactly.
that's the way it should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, it's not like I told my wife. I said it's not about me. I said I'm like just the host. I'm one of the hosts of the party. That's all.
Mhm.
I might be a founder or whatever, but I still consider myself as like a host of the party because it's Florida lifestyler. It's not James
Mhm.
lifestyler.
Yes,
It's not pineapple party lifestyler or something specific. This is called
right.
Florida. This represents the Sunshine State as a collective and what we have going on in our lifestyle. And I made a clothing line that we could represent the lifestyle discreetly, but still amongst the community. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So I wanted something to have
Right.
some fashion style to it, but some type of class to it. So people could still wear it out and then not you could represent what you love, but it's not causing a disruption within the community or the public.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, we used to live in Virginia Beach, and we were on a cruise, and some folks told us that, Tampa is the lifestyle capital of the world. All these swingers and lifestyle people down there, like, psh, okay, yeah, everybody says that about their hometown and all that. But when we moved down here and retired down here, and now it's like every weekend there's 4 or 5 events that we got to pick and choose from of which ones we want to go to and what we want to do. Uh,
Yeah,
it's
It's a
there's a
lot.
lot going on in Florida in the Sunshine State down here with that upside down pineapple. That
yeah,
it's fun. Yeah, there's a lot to do. And again, there's the wide gamut of places. I mean,
Mhm.
the swinger resorts to the house parties to the nudist beaches to the Passage Keys. There are so many different things. We still learn about them every day.
right.
About some of the beaches, even we're gonna try and hit up a couple of the different beaches that just over the next couple months. But as a matter of fact, we're actually going to a party tomorrow night or Saturday night where it's a new group that's popped up and they're throwing a party. So we're up here doing a little relaxation, but we're like, hey, we'll go check out this party, this new group, and maybe we'll talk to them on our podcast about it.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to seeing some new stuff from you guys. So keep on posting because I joined a platform called Nudist Tour. It's like Nudist Tour something. It's one of these apps, but it shows me it's Nudist Compass. The app is actually called Nudist Compass, and it shows all the little nudist resorts and
Mhm.
locations that they're at. Because sometimes I'll be sitting with my wife and I'll just be like, man, I want to just go and see what we could venture to know more about the lifestyle, you know?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Don't ever think you're an expert. Be able to, continue to learn and
Mhm.
get a little bit more information out there. Absolutely.
definitely
Growth. It's always about growing.
that's what I do. That's why I have guys like you join. I have the community of everybody join. When I do my Q&As, I make sure I let people know this is just from my experience. I have a sexologist certification, but that's only because of the profession that we're in. It's not because I'm the guru of all gurus. You know, it's just about holistic sexology. What I practice is teaching people the spiritual, nature of it, not as a religion or anything of that nature, but just knowing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
to know thyself is to know everything. In a
Mhm.
Absolutely.
sense, it gives you more of a sense of direction. You know what I'm saying? So I practice on teaching people to understand the laws within the universal laws, but applying them to the lifestyle as well. Because it's everything is everything. So if you know how to work in the law of giving and receiving, and on the vacuum law, or just the law of reciprocation, or these different laws, it would teach you how to navigate your life easier, especially in the lifestyle, and be more comfortable. Because a lot of people speak on how they are very like uncomfortable at places and things of that nature. So I really want to try to teach them how to be comfortable within so it can
Yes.
reflect on the outside. And you
Yeah.
only get you only get what you expect. So if you're expecting and you're putting yourself in the state of mind where you're not going to get good results, you're not going to get good results.
Exactly.
Exactly. And
Right.
but then
So
also understanding how you interact with other people about learning yourself as well. And that was one
yeah,
of the things being in the military, doing the different leadership tests and all that other stuff. It wasn't about learning about how you are as a leader or you are individually, but it's about how you now interact with other people. What I think is the most important part, and which I like to call in this whole social experiment that we're in called lifestyle, right? That it's kind of crazy that
yeah,
you can
that's
learn so
great.
much about other people and then kind of put them on their own little islands, right? And you might visit that island every weekend or every night or whatever, but
Yeah,
then there's going to be some that you put over there that oh, okay, maybe we just go see them, maybe at Christmas time, like the family type
yeah,
thing. But once you learn, but once you got to know yourself first and how you interact or what makes you go, and then once you do that, you can start understanding other people and what drives them. But most importantly, then how do you interact together?
correct. Man, this is a great conversation. I'm glad you guys had came on the podcast. Now, before we head out, I want to ask one more question. When you hear Florida Lifestyler, what comes to your mind?
Image, I would say, is the hot blonde on a beach with a short bikini and maybe a thong bikini on. However, what we have found that,
Your
and I think,
paradise key, your passage key. Sorry.
yeah, right. But I'll tell you what I have actually come to learn, and as we've matured as a couple in this, but me as an individual maturing and through this whole thing in the lifestyle, is that I've actually come to find out it's not about it's not about the outside of the book. It's all about what's inside. There's been a lot of women that weren't the most attractive people I've ever talked to or sat down and hanging out with, but once you get to know them and what drive, yeah, going back to what I was just saying about that island, what makes them drive and what makes them tick, you put them on that island. you come out of there sometimes thinking, I want to visit that island like every weekend type thing. And like, wow, she's extremely attractive, but just not the outside of the book. The whole book is attractive.
Right, because
Yeah.
sometimes in this lifestyle, the most attractive people could get the most uncomfortable play moments.
Oh,
Yeah.
completely.
Yes.
Completely. Yeah.
Very yes. Like,
Unfortunately.
yeah,
Like,
like what
yeah,
the
they're
hell?
super hot.
But
This is gonna be fly as hell, and then you be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
well, this is
Until it's
awkward.
not.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
Yep.
everybody's thinking about who's doing what and what, like overthinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly
Yeah,
overthinking
overthinking.
and not just being in the moment. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
100%.
And the couple that think they're quote unquote average, they like all out fun. You don't worry about nothing. You guys are having the craziest time jumping from the ceilings.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I answered your question, but Miss Cora, what you got an answer for that one?
You know, I like to think of Florida lifestylers as the full spectrum, knowing that so many people fit into what we call lifestyle that a lot of times they don't think that they are. So our definition of lifestyle is everyone from nudists to voyeurs to exhibitionism to adding a third, swingers, polyamorous, couples that have girlfriends and boyfriends and their wives stay at home and they go on separate dates. I mean, we consider the whole spectrum lifestyle, not just swingers. And in Florida, I think that's why it is such a huge population and it is kind of the mecca,
Yeah.
is because it's open mindedness around sex, sexuality, and just themselves too,
Yeah.
their own sexuality as
It's
well.
it's been a proven fact that when we were up north, you had to look to try and pick out who would be a swinger or lifestyler. Down here in Florida, it's almost the opposite. You got to prove to me. I see sometimes think that you got to prove to me that you're
You're
not
not
a
lifestyle.
lifestyle or swinger. You're going through the airport and you're like, oh, I know where they're going. They're on their way to secrets right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk to people and we'll even get messages and emails through Nextdoor Swing that's like, well, we had a few threesomes and my wife really is into women and has a couple girlfriends that she plays with, but we're not lifestyle.
Right.
And I'm like, but
Hmm.
you are. I mean, and that's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
that's what I think about Florida lifestyle is the whole spectrum. And
It's
that,
just another given Sunday.
yeah, so that's my
yeah.
opinion.
That was a good answer. You guys are great speakers and a great couple. And I'm glad to know you the second couple, well, like the second or third couple I interviewed that been together for as long as I've been in a relationship since a teenage love. And that's a difficult but long journey. And I'm not gonna say difficult as in no, difficult, let's change the words. Challenging.
Right.
It's a more
Challenge
challenging
accepted.
learning. Yeah, because
Mhm.
the challenging you could say is difficult to some people, but it's more challenging because you're growing up together and becoming adults
Right.
together, and you're becoming both individuals. Like sometimes you'll start off the same, and then you grow up, and then you become like, and then you be like, we
Yes.
got to find out how we could get this ship back together now.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
It's growing together through the process, I think that is very important for a couple to do it together. And that's why when we got into the lifestyle, we had a pack before we ever while we were talking about it, while we were talking about fantasies, and that our pack was we will always do this together. If it's not working for one party or the other person gets to say no and no questions are asked.
Yep.
And then we can talk about things later. We can talk about it, later after. But
Right.
if either of us have a no, it's a no questions asked because we're in this together and it's not a separate
And
entity.
that's actually happened several times in the moment, almost at the point of a play situation, where both of us have had that gut instinct, stomach,
Mhm.
something going on,
Intuition.
intuition going on, and like, wait a minute, it's not feeling just right.
Mhm.
Let's pump the brakes, stop, and walk away, and let's talk about it later.
Mhm.
And most times, it's all come up to be like, I'm glad we did
Glad we did
because
it because intuition speaks
intuition speaks a
loud.
lot. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so what? This is what matters the most right here.
Yeah.
The couple, not the anybody else that's out there.
Right, because the purpose of the lifestyle is to have a couple take a journey together into a new world that they can share. Yeah, they couldn't share before. You know what I'm saying? It's all about you two. And that's what I like. That is very important. You guys made that a fucking statement. Excuse my
Yes.
language. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's true. It's very important to us.
yes, you guys come before because you enter the lifestyle together, and the lifestyle wouldn't exist in your dynamic without both of you. So it's good that you guys keep that teamwork. You guys are a very powerful couple. You guys, everybody follow Next Door Swing right now. Go to
Thank
everything
you.
that they have. It's in the description. You see my finger right there. All you gotta do is press that little button that say more and info and whatever bio. And they got
Yep.
all the links right there. Make sure you follow Next Door Swing. Cora and Max, I thank you so much for coming and taking your time out to share with the community. It means a lot.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate you.
Yes,
And what you're doing.
and thank you for what you're doing. Yeah, get the word out there.
Thank you. I'm just taking it one pineapple at a time, baby.
No.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thank you, guys. Be sure to click and check out these guys. Follow them. Trust me, I follow them every day, and I actually watch you guys a lot. You know, so thank you guys. And I didn't know you was on YouTube. I just be seeing the podcast, but I'm gonna go watch the YouTube as soon as I get off of here.
It's
I'm
some
not
good
even.
stuff. Some good
So yeah,
stuff.
you guys got podcast episodes, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we have the audio podcast that's on Apple Podcast and Spotify. But
Okay.
then we also have a full-on channel, YouTube channel that does the full walkthroughs of many of the resorts.
Yep. We just finished doing one on secrets.
Yep.
We did a walkthrough of secrets where we got an opportunity to do our podcast from the Dungeon of Secrets.
Yep.
It was very
Okay.
fun, very cool.
Go watch that right now. Say no more.
Yep.
You'll see me subscribe. You'll see me subscribe in the next 20 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much again. God bless, and speak with you soon. If you need more, just reach out. Be sure to reach out for anything.
Well,
Keep it
thank
real.
you. You too. Bye.
Some gear too soon. See ya. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Awesome.
All right, team, let's keep that energy up. Drop down, kick back, feet in, jump high.
Isn't this the best, babe?
Couldn't ask for better.